Well, we've drawn all kinds of things from the city, boxes, pyramids, etc. We even did trees and a little bit of a forest scene. Now we're going to try to draw a portrait. Now, when you draw a portrait, don't get nervous. Everybody's head is about the same. It's a little bit rounded, it's somewhat oval in shape. Similarly, what happens is your eyes are usually right in the middle of your face. You have a nose that goes below that from the center, and your mouth and your ears, everything is about the same place for most people. What distinguishes people, one person from another, is maybe the color of the hair, the color of their eyes, the thickness of their lips, the size of their mouth, the size of the nose, the shape of the nose, the ears, the same thing along that line. But the key is most people normally have 2 ears, 2 eyes, a nose, 2 eyebrows, and a mouth. And whether they're thick or thin-lipped doesn't make any difference. First we draw the basic face. After we have everything in the right place, we can always make the eyes bigger or smaller. We can make the nose bigger or smaller. We can do the same with the mouth and the ears. We can give the person more hair or less hair. We can give a male hairline or a female hairline. Doesn't matter. So what we're going to work here with is a basic portrait full face view. To start that, all you need to do is draw a very big plus in the middle of your paper. This has to be a vertical line, this is horizontal. Then what you're going to do is you're going to space it. It doesn't matter whether you use a ruler or you use the thickness of one finger, makes no difference. All you're going to make sure of is that this distance here is 3 units and the distance here is 3 units. They have to be the same sized units. Then for the width, you're going to have 2 units here and 2 units here. So basically you have 4 in width, 6 in height. So what you can do is you can draw a rectangle. But the problem is people don't have pointy corners on their heads or their chins. So what you do is you maybe take one of your measurements, whatever the 3 here were, one here, one there, and draw it at an angle. Do the same here, here, and here. And you notice this starts to look a little bit like an oval. It's not rounded yet, but at least it's starting to look that direction. Now, when you have this line across the center that's horizontal, divide it into 5 equal parts as close as you can. If you want to eyeball it, that's fine. If you want to use a ruler, divide it and get out fractions, that's fine too. But just basically you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 approximately equal shaped spaces. You erase the numbers and then you make a slight arch over the second one and the fourth one like this. Just a slight arch. Inside the middle of these arches you draw a little C. You've all written C's before, just do the same. Now the distance from here to here you're going to divide into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal spaces. As close as you can estimate. Let me go back. On the second one down you draw a horizontal line. That will be normally where the bottom of the average person's nose will be. And the width of the nose tends to be where the corners of the eyes are. So it should be about so. To draw a nose, because you're looking straight at it, the center of the nose is just an arch. And then the sides are like partial C's. When you draw the mouth, most people's mouths, if they have a normal sized mouth, you take a look at the center of the eye down, center down, and you go down to the 3rd space and draw a straight line. So now you have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and the mouth is seen because it's just a straight line so far. when you erase the lines you don't need, you start to see it's beginning to look like a face. You notice I put a slight, very, very slight arch here. That arch gives the impression that this section here is the bottom lip. Now, what I did was I rounded this off a little bit. I rounded this, and I gave ears. Now, ears looked like elongated question marks. Like this could be elongated question mark here, and this could be the opposite or mirror image. The eyebrows tend to be just a little bit above the eyes. If people's eyes are really deep set, then make the eyebrows a little lower. If their eyes bulge, normally the eyebrows are a little higher. But this gives you a good estimate. And in most cases, ears are only as long as from the bottom of the nose to where the eyebrow is. That's pretty normal. Now, some people have really tiny ears and they might only be this big. Other people have really long ears and it looks like the bottom of the ear is almost like where the top of the lip is. But that you'll tell when you start to draw people. So, this looks like he's got a fairly strong chin. And so what I did is I made a man out of him. Men have hairlines where they have peaks or corners here. About 90% do. Some men have a very tiny forehead where they have a lot of hair and the hair comes in straight from the temples, so they have it low. Many men have much higher hairlines like I do. So it just depends. Normally as a man gets older, the hairline goes further back, but that's not always true. Women, on the other hand, normally have hairlines that are kind of rounded. And you notice that it looks more like this could be a woman as opposed to men, just by doing nothing else but changing the hairline. Now, sometimes when you want people to look sad, it doesn't take much. Slight change in the lips with these tiny little marks here. And look what I did to the eyebrows. And this look is now mad. If you've ever seen somebody mad, you can see that they usually have wrinkles in their forehead and their eyebrows go this way. Their mouth also stays turned this way. On the other hand, if people are happy, their eyebrows go up a little like this, rounded. And the curve, rather than being down, is upward. And you notice this person looks like he or she is smiling more. Actually, she, if we have that hairline. So, when I changed this around, what I did was I just softened this a little, and I gave a broken hairline a little bit, and put a little loft on the hair. And you see, you have a fairly happy person here. Could be a young guy. When I shade, you use the side of the pencil and you put it here and here, here and here, and a little on either side. And you can use your finger or a piece of tissue paper to rub it, to soften it, and then an eraser to highlight it. I also solidified the eyes and left a little white spot in the middle, which gives the impression that it's shiny. I also darkened the eyelid on the top. I then started shading here, and you notice as I shade here, the cheeks start to look round, which give the impression of a smile and more 3D. I also put shading around the sides of the nose and a little under. And you know, everybody has that little dimple, not kind of a ridge here. I did that by shading down here. And then I similarly put a tiny bit of shading between the mouth here, between the upper lip and the bottom lip. Now I shaded more, but notice I made the person look a little older. What happened is I changed the hair. It looks like he's got gray hair on top, and I pulled the hairline back a little bit. I really made him sad. I just aged him. Can you imagine? Just seconds, and right now he looks much older. And the way I did it is pretty simple. Most people, as they go older, their skin starts to sag a little bit and they get what they call jowls. The other thing that happens there is their lips get more wrinkles in it, as do the cheeks here. You wind up with more wrinkles, so the way you do that, you just draw deeper lines, darker, more contrast. Similarly, the eyebrows a little hairier here, a little more wrinkling around the eyes. I left his hair alone in this one. But you see the lines here? That all ages him. Now I really aged him. So I made it more pronounced. I made the lines darker, which seem deeper. I sank the cheeks a little bit so there's less bounce to them. And I took away even more hair here. So now he's aged a lot more. So when you're drawing portraits, slight changes around the eyes, the mouth, around the cheeks, and the hairline can make a big difference on either age or what kind of emotion that people are expressing. And this is just the beginning. Later on, we'll be working on how to make people look like the person you're looking at when you're drawing them. But at present, just get used to doing a little bit of shading, a little bit of working with the shape of a full portrait, and we'll stop there for the moment.